Okay, Transformers, we're live. We're just waiting for everything to pipe up here. Guys, I am so excited as always because we've had an enormous response from you Transformers in the making. It's been so overwhelming, but let's get started. We'll type something in. If you're just joining, this is the Transformers Academy. I'm going to type in on Instagram what we've been talking about all week long. Give me a second here. Okay. All right. So we posted that. We're good to go. All right. So if you're joining or will be joining us, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're simultaneously on Periscope and Instagram at the same time. So if you're going to be joined, if you're new to the Transformers Academy, I say welcome. If you're going to be joining us this evening, I want to talk candidly about the things that mean the most to us. And so I'll get into the topic of this week tonight in a second here, but I want to talk briefly about what the Transformers Academy is all about. For those persons who've been following us, you know that transformation for me is about an evolving process. And so you'll hear me say that all the time. You'll hear me say transformation. Transformation to me is everything. And so when I started thinking about my own transformations, I started thinking about moving from one place to the next. And so what does that actually mean when you're moving from one place to the next? Well, one of the things that I've done or my focus is to make sure that that process of moving from one place to the next is something that is universal, that we all will have an opportunity to experience, such as health, relationships, career, education, spirituality, all those things that encompass a movement, if you will. And so if you're going to be going from one place to the next, transformation of those areas somehow come to mind. And we've had responses, the likes and all those things from the postings. So I know that you guys are serious about transformation. I know that transformation is a part of your daily short-term and long-term goals because you've expressed those things to us. And so what my goal is every week, we're going to post these transformation vitamin quotes that begin on Monday for the next week. And so you'll see me come on live, Periscope, Instagram throughout the week to sort of check in with you guys and find out for that transformation vitamin of the week how you guys are actually doing. Does that make sense? If you're on the air, you're coming on. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for all the love that's coming. Send those things in. We like them. And if you'd like to ask a question, it's an open forum. Once I get into the broadcast of this evening, I want you to share information, share the likes, and let us know what you think as well. Okay? So, transformation, I want you to think about when you come on the broadcast, I want you to think about your own transformation. I want you to think about where are you in terms of your work, your career, your personal life, your family, your friends, your educational attainment, things that you acquired, things that you want to do that you have not done thus far. So in other words, you guys aspire to do something. You're talking about starting a business. You're talking about losing weight. You're talking about getting rid of addictions. You're talking about whatever it is that you talked about, you have yet progressed and brought those things into fruition. And so that means that you are part of a transformation that can begin. And so I always believe that transformation begins and ends with you. And because you have control of those things, it's always destiny at your door. All right. Okay, so let's get started. Remember, these broadcasts are available later on. You can get a chance to go to the Transformers Academy on the website, DrAngeloReynolds.com. On Instagram, you guys know that these broadcasts are only available for 24 hours. Periscope, they're continuous. You can always go there and look at those things. But I encourage you guys to share the information with your colleagues, your friends, your families, and find your place in the academy. Find your place where you can see yourself growing in those areas that we talked about. Does that make sense? All right, let's get going. All right, so last week I started posting about something near and dear to a lot of people. And I know that people have struggles. We all have. If you haven't had them yet, welcome, because they're coming. We all had obstacles, setbacks, failures, and all those things that sort of mimic or prohibit a halt in terms of something that we like. So the topic is, or for this week is, how to embrace the struggles and the progress at the same time. What do you mean by that? How can you embrace something that you're going through that can be so tumultuous, something that is a major struggle for you, but how can you see the light at the end of the tunnel? How can you savor progress when everything seems so dark and looming to you? And so that is the question that I pose to you all, and that's what I'm posing tonight. I'm going to give you 3 things that I believe that's important, 3 things that I use, and some of these things are interrelated. In other words, you can use those. Some of them you take it out, but guess what? These things are that you can use to cater what your needs are. So I don't know what your struggles are. I don't know what your setbacks are. I don't know exactly what you're dealing with, but I can tell you right now, if you've gone through a struggle, if you're currently in a struggle, I can tell you right now, you can get through it. And so that's what my goal has been. We had a lot of responses on Instagram and all those places because I guess people are inquisitive about how can I embrace the struggle and understand the progress and savor the progress at the same time. So you say, so take for an example, I always like to use myself. I always like to use myself because that gives an example of things that you can do to fit your own struggle. So for me, what did I do to embrace a struggle or some struggles at that time and savor the progress? What did I do? Well, I can tell you right now, for those of you who don't know my story, years ago, I had some major setbacks, legal things that kept me from working 6 whole years because I had a conviction on my record. And so because of that, my credentials, my ability to go teach, my ability to work, sound employment, all those things were down by the wayside. I couldn't do any of those things. And so how did I savor the moment? How did I progress? Now, what can you do in times where things seem so dark? It was a very dark time for me. And so you have to find, I'm going to give you these things. I want you to write them down. You have to find some refuge. Now, I don't know if you're able to find some solace in terms of your struggle. Number one, let me tell you right now. Number one, write these things down. Listen, when we come on the air, I hope you guys are taking notes because writing these things down is more beneficial than just looking at the video. So write these things down, okay? All right, so we're talking about embracing the struggle and savoring and enjoying the progress as we go on. Because you remember now, think about the struggle that you was in. Remember that struggle is temporary. Although it may seem so long and daunting, it is a temporary halt. So remember that. So for me, what did I do? Number one, find something to do that you've always wanted to do before. What do you mean by that? Well, some of you talked about writing books. Some of you talked about starting businesses. Some of you talked about finding refuge in becoming a healthier person. Some of you talked about you had a vision to start whatever it is you began and thought about as your vision you wanted to do. And so what better time to find your creative self, to find and go back and tap into those things that you wanted before. Listen, it is difficult. I know it is, but you have to find some creative moments in your solitude. And so what I mean by that is I want you, number one, is to go back and find that passion, find that interest, tap into that goal, and go back and begin those things that you put down. Does that make sense? Find a way to go back and the things that you even thought about, because everything starts with a thought. Go back and reach those things and find a way to put them in action. So for me, what I did was I wrote a book. So for me, during the daunting times, I said, you know what? What better thing to do than to write about my struggles? Okay? What can I do to tell my story and do something productive while I'm going through this major struggle? So I began to write. All right, that's what I did. You can do that too. I know you guys have books, ideas, businesses that are sitting right there. They're being wasted because the struggle is so overwhelming and you don't have the motivation. Listen, you guys can do it. Get yourself in gear. Number two, find some way to be alone. Find some way to become not necessarily a loner, but find a way to do things on your own. What do I mean by that? Why is that important? Well, the reason why it's important is when you're going through a lot of struggles, when you're going through something, the difficult thing for people around you is to understand and feel your pain. Many people are not going to feel your pain the way you do, so they definitely won't understand. So finding that solace, finding that solitude, and finding that oneness begins with you. And I can guarantee you, you can become more productive alone than you can around people who are non-productive, people who don't share your ideas, and people who don't see your vision. I know. I want to tell somebody about this. Listen, you have to get into the tune of not talking about your dreams because dream busters are all around. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, and number 3, finally, never, ever, ever give in, never give up. I talked about this all week. I posted talking about not giving in, not giving up. I know people say, well, you never should quit. But, well, Angelo, you don't understand my position. No, I don't. But I can tell you right now, we've all had dark places where we just felt like throwing the towel in. We just felt like saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm telling you tonight, enough is not enough. You can still go further. You still have that in you, but you have to find that solace. And if you can find that solace, if you can go back and do those things like write that book, start that business, get the creative mind together, surround yourselves around only people who are supportive and understand your walk. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So listen, guys, we have a multitude of things for you all. We do this every single week. I hope that the vitamin of the week is something that you can use in your personal and your professional life. Listen, we all could use some guidance sometime. And I know many of you are sitting back thinking about the struggle that you went through and some of the things that you lost. So think about the things and the opportunities that you didn't do. Think about something that you wanted to do that you did not do because of that struggle, because of that setback, because of the failures of over and over again, and you never resonated because the struggle was overwhelming and it kept you from moving forward. Been there, done that? Yes. Sound familiar? Listen, today I want to tell you guys, you are champions of the best. Listen, you can do it. It is in your power and within your reach. But you have to dig down. No one is going to do it for you. You can sit around and talk about over and over again. Why can't I do this? Why shouldn't I do that? Well, if this hadn't happened to me, that stuff has to go out the window. It's wasted time. It's wasted energy. And what happens is you get discouraged. When you get discouraged, you give in. When you give in, you give up. And that's what happens. And so I know you guys don't want to be the person that say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Because I'm here to tell you, you can, you can, you can. I know this within your reach. You just have to make sure that you stand up, do something. I've been posting all week talking about the grind, the work, the force, never giving in, never giving up, having trust, believing, having faith. All those things are relevant in the midst of your drive, in the midst of your walk. All right? Sounds good? Listen, guys, catch me at DrAngeloReynolds.com. Also, look out for the tweets, all the alerts, and all the things that come out because the new vitamin of the week will come out. If it's something that you want to hear about, spend some time with us. I hope you guys are getting these notifications when we come on the air. Periscope sends out alert through Twitter. Instagram will say Angelo Reynolds is live on a broadcast. And I'm hoping you guys will spend some time with us because, listen, one thing about the Transformers Academy, it's multi-learning. That means that it's dual learnership between myself and you Transformers in the making. And I can tell you right now, the information that you get, the experiences that you hear and share can be beneficial to us all. Because learning is evolutionary and it's ever evolving. And that's why transformation is right next your door. Okay. All right. So no questions or comments if you're on the air. If not, I hope you guys will go back and see this broadcast. My name is Angelo Reynolds Sr. And I hope this broadcast will bring some refuge to you, but also encourage you and to inspire you to go out and make a difference in your own life and then impact others through your grace, through your work, and your refuge to save America. Okay? All right. We'll see you then. Until next week, look out for the alerts. We hope you have a good week. Be blessed.